Can you tell tech is not exactly my thing?
It doesn't have to be everybody's thing, right?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, but somebody has to do it. And I'm so glad you're good at it, Haley. I am so glad. So thank you for having me on this. And just, I mean, the last speaker was terrific. Got a lot out of that one, even though I was only there for a little bit of time because I'm a woman, I multitask, right? So I'm actually running an event out in Las Vegas this week. So, hey, crazy town. So I have a question for you, ladies. Are you somebody who is beyond frustrated with your weight? Are you somebody who's sick and tired of the diet treadmill? Are you someone who suspects that there might be something really wrong with you because you followed every diet to the letter and maybe even gained weight? How would you like to learn the real reasons that you've been having such a hard time with your weight? In a moment, I'm going to share with you the hidden things which may have been keeping your body from losing that extra weight so you can ditch diets for good and get a body you love. Welcome, welcome. I'm Liz Bull, and I believe that your fat is not your fault. I believe the diet industry is the evil empire, and I believe that every woman deserves a body and a life she loves. And thank you again, Haley Gray, for inviting me to this terrific summit. I appreciate it. I'm a medical intuitive, a master healer, and a best-selling author. And I am dedicated to helping and guiding women who are fed up and frustrated with diet programs that don't work, so that they can finally end their struggle with weight and the battle with their body. And I do this with a holistic and gentle mind-body approach that focuses on freeing them from the hidden hurts and traumas and beliefs, as well as the tyranny of outdated and just plain wrong information, which has been keeping them frustrated, famished, and still fat. Since we're going to be spending a little time together, would it be okay if I tell you a little bit about myself? I hope it is. See, I grew up with a mom who was morbidly obese, and tragically, it led to her demise. I lost my mom to fat, and I watched as she spent a fortune on meetings, bought diet books, after diet book, after diet book. She prayed. She gave herself up to a higher power. She starved herself. She was put on diet pills, which frankly made her crazy and cranky, and secretly devoured entire chocolate cakes in the middle of the night. And I watched her struggle with clothes and avoid photographs. She would always make sure she stood at the back. And I grew up learning how to cook from the Weight Watchers cookbook. And I thought counting calories was what everybody did. My mom was bright. She was CEO bright. And she worked a dead-end job. She was too embarrassed by her weight to go for promotions or to do something better. And she avoided the dance floor, even though my dad was a great dancer. And not even a medically supervised fast kept the weight off. She always regained the pounds and more. My worst memory is of a big family Thanksgiving dinner when her brother offered her 2 chairs to sit on. And I watched in horror as she choked back the tears. It really broke my heart. More about that brother later. What I learned, though, in a eureka moment, I'll talk about later, is that it did not have to be this way. Didn't. And I'm so sad that this knowledge came too late to help my mom. But I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to share it with you. So the truth is that there are many, 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 many factors at play when it comes to weight and how our bodies use food or don't use food. And these factors are not obvious. In fact, many of them are hidden. Many of them are hidden. As time is short, I'm just going to be talking about a few of them. So there's a lot to this. It's a very deep subject. The biggest factor that I find with my clients is what I call emotional toxins. Now, these are hidden beliefs that we carry, sometimes generated by painful traumas and situations, and sometimes inherited. Many develop before we've reached the age of 5. So it's our subconscious mind and our hidden beliefs that block weight loss and control 90 to 95% of what we do in our lives. Really, it drives the train. So in my program, we ferret these things out. We ferret out these weight loss blockers and we clear them out. So it's no longer a problem. Let me give you some examples. I need to be heavy to feel safe. If I'm thin, nobody will take me seriously. If I'm thin and sexy, I'll get attacked, maybe raped. I'll feel unsafe, particularly around men, but that's not just it. I have to be fat to be accepted by my family because they're all fat. If I'm thin, I'll be a slut or maybe cheat on my mate. Or my mate will be jealous. He'll start to get really anxious, like, oh, she's looking too good. I need my weight to help me say no and set boundaries, stand my ground. You know, I have to be solid, really rock solid. I have to be big to be solid to stand my ground. And sometimes there are more layers. Like if I lose this weight and I pursue my dream and I flop, I fall flat on my face, that will mean there's something really wrong with me. I won't be able to blame the weight. Another one, I won't know who I am if I'm thin. I won't know who I am. If I'm thin, I'll be a bitch. In my experience, every extra pound that you carry on your body often equals a pound of emotional pain that you've been carrying in your heart. And I found over and over again that clearing out the emotional pain allows for the release of this extra weight effortlessly, just like it did when I had that eureka moment. See, I was working with a client on some relationship issues, nothing to do with weight, but I noticed that she was carrying, like her lungs were really dark. I'm a medical intuitive, remember? So the lungs were really dark and she was carrying all this sadness. I was like, what is this? What is this? It turned out that although she had several kids, like 5, I think at the time, she had also suffered a number of miscarriages. And when I healed and cleared that tremendous amount of grief that she was carrying, all that sadness, there was a completely unexpected result. Her body started to release. And this is going to sound crazy, but she was literally carrying the weight of those babies in her body as a way of staying connected to their souls. So in a very short period of time, her body started to release the weight of these babies. It was like pregnancy weight, gone, 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 gone. We can hardly believe it. I mean, this was nuts. So she dropped like 3 whole sizes in like practically no time. In my experience with thousands of healings, overeating as well as other physical ailments is triggered by emotionally painful memories of some sort, traumas, situations. Here are the things that I found to be common with my clients. A lot of them are perfectionists. They're often firstborn, trying to live up to really high expectations. Love in their families was often conditional. It's like performance-based. A lot of them were verbally, emotionally, and sometimes sexually abused, physically abused. The family did not deal well with emotions. It was like, no, we don't do that. So emotions were not allowed to be expressed like that. Oh, quit your crying or we'll give you something to cry about treatment. And the 5th thing was just very common. And there's a ton of them, but we don't have a lot of time. Food and drink were always used for pleasure or reward with an emphasis on sweets and desserts. And what I have found is that I can clear these hidden beliefs. We identify them quickly. And once they're gone, they're gone. They're gone. The truth is that food, though, has an amazing ability to soothe, especially the sugars and the starches, which of course convert to sugar. Lab rats actually prefer sugar to cocaine. They do. And if I asked you, and I'm talking to you, to list your personal comfort foods, what would be on the list? Who's got broccoli? Anybody got broccoli? I don't think so. I don't think so. Usually it's cookies, it's ice cream, it's chocolate, it's mac and cheese, chips, hot cocoa, those sorts of things. Those are the sorts of things that end up on the comfort food list. So In addition to the association with happy moments and memories, for many of us, cake, and especially the frosting, is our best friend, it's our protector, it's our companion in a crazy world that makes no sense. Let me give you some examples. Little story about a woman in New York. Like many kids with parents who work long hours, she and her brother were on their own after school. The problem was that her brother was a bully and liked to torment her. So she would stop at the corner store after school and pick up a tub of Betty Crocker frosting. And she would eat the entire tub on the way home. And she would pick up a couple of packages of Ho-Hos to go along with it. So her body got bigger as a result, so she was better able to protect herself. And of course, the sugar made her feel better in the meantime, right? Another story, a client in her 40s, she was a commercial pilot. Now, her father was a high-ranking executive, and he was a rageaholic who beat the crap out of her brother constantly. And little Maria, that was her name, tried to protect her brother as her father chased him around. I mean, literally, the guy would chase him around to beat him and, beat furniture broken, just a real crazy situation. But she blamed herself for not being able to protect her brother. And so she consoled herself. She would sneak into the pantry at night and eat these little cakes. That's what she would do. So, and she got used to walking on eggshells and became the consummate people pleaser. So when she gets tense, what does she do? She eats. What else should she go for? She likes the little cakes, I had another client who had like little rum cakes. That was her big thing. So another story I'll tell you of a woman who was sexually abused by her brother at a young age. And she was pretty and she was bright and she struggled with weight her entire life. In spite of all the Weight Watchers programs, the money she spent on the low-calorie drinks and the specialty drinks and the endless meetings at Overeaters Anonymous and her constant prayers, the weight stayed. It stayed, and it contained her toxic shame, and it contained her rage at not having been protected by her mother from her brother. It contained her rage at her demanding boss, and it protected her from any more unwanted advances from men. Cake, especially chocolate, was her drug of choice. Gobbled at midnight when the family was asleep. This woman was my mom, by the way. And yeah, it was the same brother who offered her the 2 chairs. Yeah. So food not only makes you feel calm and numb, it also quiets troublesome thoughts and memories. And a word about chocolate, people. What we're needing here really is the magnesium, because chocolate is full of it. And magnesium calms us down. So you see how this thing works, I think, right? You're getting the picture here. So this brings me to stories about the 4 primary emotions which trigger overeating and keep us fat: fear, anger, tension, and shame, FATS for short. So these are always triggered by stressors of some kind, including finances, as our previous speaker was talking about. So one of my clients came from a very large family. They were a poor family, and the dinner table was a free-for-all. If you didn't grab food quickly and eat it quickly, you were going hungry. That was it. So even though he's now a very prosperous businessman, he always over-orders food and he gulps it down. I mean, there is no stopping him until he worked with me. So that's all changed, and now he's dropped all those extra pounds. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But this is crazy stuff that can lead to that extra weight. Another gal worked a very demanding job, customer service for an airline job, and nonstop complaints from disgruntled passengers. I can hardly wait to see what the next week is going to bring with the hurricane. But those poor people. Anyway, she had no outlet for the anger here, so she had dish of candy on her desk, and it's like, and after work, she would be absolutely drained, went for the wine and some chips because she was finished. So everybody experiences something like this, and everybody experiences some kind of shame. It's a combo of self-blame, guilt, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. And we are constantly bombarded with uber perfect models of everything. Everything. We spend our lives in things like cell phone shame, I don't have a Gucci bag shame, laptop, I don't have the latest Apple laptop shame. you name it, right? Laundry detergents, self-doubt. It's like, are you using the right laundry detergent? It's out there everywhere. There's all this stuff that makes us want to feel less than, and then shame. If you're a member of the Clean Plate Club, you regularly experience shame, regularly. You've been forced, you've been conditioned into disconnecting and ignoring your body's signals that you've had enough to eat. So you might be thinking, all right, Liz, so what can I do to overcome these? What can I do? Great question, great question. The first thing is to clear up the confusion between physical hunger and emotional hunger, or head hunger. How can you tell when your body genuinely needs fuel or when you need emotional soothing and relief? First of all, physical hunger is gradual. It builds up. First, you get the little rumbling, a little gnawing in the stomach, and finally it will make some noise. It will make some noise. Emotional hunger is like that. When you're not even thinking about food and then suddenly, oh my gosh, I could eat a horse. That typically is emotional hunger. And no matter how much you eat, you're still feeling hungry. It's a crazy phenomenon. It's crazy. So what can you do? First thing is grab a glass of water. Grab a glass of water because we often confuse hunger with thirst. Secondly, give yourself a little space to figure out what is going on. Ask, what is it that I really want? What do I really want? Maybe it's a breath of fresh air. Maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's a little nap. I'll tell you about step 3 in a moment. But first, I have to talk about why it is so important to distinguish between these two kinds of hunger and to relieve that tension. Dr. Sarah Leibowitz, after years of study, found that the adrenal glands, sorry, I'm going to get techie on you here, kids, they produce excess cortisol in response to tension. Why? Because cortisol anesthetizes pain. So what happens to the cortisol? It stimulates production of a brain chemical that turns our carbohydrate cravings on and off. And she found that tension makes us crave carbohydrates. And I'm not talking about broccoli. No. The double whammy, though, according to Leibowitz, is that these tension-induced chemicals also make the body hang on to the new fat that we produce. Whoa. To repeat, tension not only creates an overactive appetite, it also makes it more difficult to lose the fat. Now, before I go on to step 3, how to relieve the tension, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my cutting-edge diet-free weight loss program. So this program is not for people with only a few pounds to lose. It's for people like my mom who've tried everything and are frustrated and still fat. My program is not one of those drop 7 pounds in 7 minutes things, because quite honestly, that only works if you have your brain removed. Just saying. So I offer a non-surgical, safe way to get a body and a life you love. It uses cutting-edge technology combined with my expertise as a healer and a medical intuitive to not only change the brain patterns. I'm changing brain patterns, people. That's what I'm doing, and healing the events and the traumas which caused the weight gain in the first place. There's no calorie carb counting stuff. You don't make yourself crazy counting things. There's no deprivation. There's no good days. There's no bad days. There's no guilt. There's no guilt. And after your brain has been reprogrammed, you can eat what you want. And believe me, after the reprogramming, what you want will be different. It will be different. And the best part of my work is that we can do it on Zoom or we can do it on the phone. It's convenient. It works with your schedule. Okay, so if you want to lose weight, if you know somebody who would like to lose this kind of weight, I'm offering complimentary sessions to see if this would be a fit. You just go to my website, lizbull.com, to find out more. Okay, so on to step 3. Step 3. So I'm going to give you a powerful tool that you can use at any time to reduce or eliminate tension. And it's called the occipital hold, named after the occiput, which is a part of your body. So here you go. First, we just try this right now. I want you to think of something that's kind of bothering you. Maybe got you a little bit on edge. Maybe you're thinking about the hurricane heading your way, whatever. So here you go. We're going to put one hand like this across your forehead and the other hand like this this curved part of the back of your neck. And you're going to press backwards on this one and forwards on the one that's at the back of your neck. Very good. Got it. All right, here we go. So I want you to just close your eyes and breathe deeply in through your nose and then out through your mouth, like you're blowing out through a straw. So here we go. And in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we'll do it one more time. In through your nose and out through your mouth. There you go. Well done. Well done. So you're going to have to do it a little bit longer than what we just did for this to work, but it works remarkably quickly, people, remarkably quickly. So you're going to notice a shift and the tension will just melt away. It just melts away. Now, another hidden factor and contributor is hormones. And as women, our bodies tend to go a little bit crazy with hormones at different stages of our lives. And the medical community, bless their hearts, as we say in the South, is just beginning to come to grips with this. You know, it's not that long ago. And there are some doctors who still think this, that menopause is all in our heads, that this is all in our heads. Really, boys, really. So when our essential female hormones are out of balance, we go a little crazy. We do. And when they're in balance, we feel good. We feel good. Our mood's good. We have an enjoyable sex life. And by the way, ladies, the big O is an essential stress reliever for women, way better than workouts at the gym. That works for the guys. It doesn't work so well for us. We need the big O. So there we go. When our hormones are out of whack, like I said, we're depressed, we're lethargic, and we're prone to self-medicating with food and other things. We're stressed. So please find a doctor who gets it. Grab a copy of Dr. Sarah Gottfried's book. That's Gottfried. Get started. Get started. And the big O is orgasm. The big O is orgasm. That's what it is. All right. Thyroid is the second big hormone, which has a profound effect on weight loss. The thyroid gland controls the rate at which we use energy. And like the estrogen progesterone imbalance, thyroid problems are often either undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Many women have been treated for depression when the real culprit was low thyroid function. And unfortunately, for many years, the metric for thyroid hormone levels was so broad that it was just meaningless, just meaningless. And as it turns out, there are many subtle signs that are indicators of low thyroid function. I can't get into all of them, but I'll show you, I'll tell you a few of them right now. The universal one, though, of women who have thyroid problems is that no matter what they do, they can't lose weight. They can't. So if you've tried everything to lose weight, and if you recognize some of the symptoms I'm going to be talking about, I urge you to get checked out by a doctor who actually gets it, because not all of them do. And I'm really sad to report there's like an estimated 10 million women with an undiagnosed thyroid problem. And maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're one of them. I was shocked when I read Sanford Siegel's book, Is Your Thyroid Making You Fat? See if you relate to some of these things. Even when I stick to a diet, I always lose less than other people who have used the plan, if I lose anything at all. And that was my experience. You know, everybody else would lose like 10, 15 pounds. I was like, nothing. I'd follow it to the letter. Nothing. I felt like such a failure. Anyway, I feel tired most of the day, no matter how much sleep I get. My skin is always dry skin. I frequently feel sad for no particular reason. I'm often cold. I'm often constipated. So if you answered yes to any of those questions, dig deeper and get checked out. One woman under Siegel's care reported losing like 17 pounds in a month after she got on proper medication. And after 4 months, she gave away her entire closet because she couldn't alter size 14s to size 4. I don't know what the number in Chico's would be, but anyway. The last hormone I'm going to mention is adrenaline. And this is huge. This is huge. And I see I'm really running out of time, but adrenaline is huge. Our adrenal glands are hardwired to get into action when we're afraid and stressed, but they're not designed to operate 24/7. Many of us are still taking on way more than we need to be taking on. And that creates that constant stress. And we're not designed for that, because your reptilian brain doesn't know the difference between saber-toothed tiger stress and the boss is irritated again today stress. Just doesn't know it. And it raises your blood sugar level and it creates insulin resistance, keeping serotonin from reaching the brain, which means you're going to have sleep problems. Okay. See how this starts to cycle around? And as women, we're really prone to this. We're like, oh, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I'm going to give you a solution for that. Just say no. Just say no. If entertaining this one little extra thing is starting to set your teeth on edge or your jaw starts to get tight, the answer is no, 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 no. So I'm going to give you the art of the gentle decline. And here's how it goes. When anybody asks you to do something that you don't want to do, and by the way, you don't owe anybody an excuse or a reason for not wanting to do something. Just check with your heart. If it's a no, it's a no. So here's what you say, though. You say, gee, not sorry, gee. You know, my plate is really full right now. And, not but, and I'm really flattered you thought of me. I wish you luck in finding the right person to do this. And then bye, click, that's it. No more entertaining it. Never, never apologize this. The second thing is look very closely at what you're doing now that's adding to your stress and stop it. A lot of what we do doesn't need to be done. Or it could be done by somebody else. Maybe not the way you would do it, but it would get done. It would get done. And then the other thing is carve out me time, to breathe deeply, to journal, to take a nice soak in the tub, have a nice cup of tea, take a walk, take a nap, and time to de-stress, Stress is a huge thing for weight, huge. No pun intended. So giving your body enough of sleep is crucial to weight loss, crucial, and giving your body the time it needs for cell repair. Now, I know Haley is about to get the hook here. So the last thing I'll talk about very briefly is toxins, heavy metals, parasites, yeast, candida. All of these things affect your liver and its ability to be the sewage plant and the fat burner. They do. So a lot of us are carrying heavy metals. You got to get them out of your body. That's all there is to it. Candida, yeast, same thing. There are cleanses for all of these things. And you got to take care of it. Get tested. If you've got a pet, you probably have parasites. Sorry, but cats and dogs are notorious for that. They do. So you got to get rid of that. And they're living off your body's food supply, and they will make you hungry, and they will especially make you want, the sugars and the starches and so on. That's what they do. And the last thing is food sensitivities. It has a big, big influence on your ability to maintain a stable and appropriate weight. Because when your body is sensitive to a food, and that's not the same as an allergy. It just means your body can't use it. And if it can't use it, it will store it as fat. There may be other signs. You might have sinus issues. You might have extra earwax. You might have itchy skin, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Sinus, acne. Acne is another big one that will be a sign of a food intolerance and sensitivity. So I know Haley is about to get the hook, so I'm going to sign off here. Remember that hunger is not always remember that hunger that is not physically based can never, ever be satisfied with food. Never. So pay attention to your body and your feelings and learn to ask, what is it that I really want? What does I really want? And give yourself